Hey, Casey Ho fam, how are you? I am well, thank you. Um, if you guys have been watching, for any length of time, you'll know that I've been trying to work my way through the top 100 Bollywood films, just to watch them and just try to get better acquainted with the history of it. Pardon me, boy, that was terrible timing on my part. And I've been working from number 100 and kind of working my way forward. And we've seen a lot of great films. But this one I would say was really, man, I was shocked at it. I was truly shocked at this film. It's an older film, 1983. It was on YouTube, so I was able to watch the whole thing on YouTube, which is pretty cool. Because sometimes these films can be hard to get my hands on. I don't have the same access that you all may have, my Indian friends. Sometimes I buy them off of Amazon or YouTube or eBay or something like that, and I gotta wait for them to ship and whatnot. And you know, and I can't afford to buy 50 at a time. So each month I try to get my hands on one of them. So this film I was really excited to see this was on YouTube, because it's like, ooh, I could just watch it. And it was, who was it? Shemaru? Was it the film house? Shemaku? Something like that. Shemaru, Shemabu, Shemaku. And I've seen their stuff on YouTube before, and it seems like they're an older film house. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But this film was called Ardh Satya. Ardh Satya. And let me spell it just in case I'm saying it wrong. Ardh Ardh Satya, Satya. Now, I don't know all their names, right? But, their character names. I couldn't keep up with it. It was moving too fast for me. So when I watch Bollywood films, if I don't have subtitles, I usually watch them 2 or 3 times, and I take notes and will pause as I go so I can try to piece together everything I can. But this thing was outstanding. So we see this guy, right? This guy, he's a cop, and he is really idealistic in this idea of truth, justice, the Indian way. And he's going to go out and police and do these things and carry on, and he's going to be a police officer, and he wants to have this great career and all this stuff. And he comes across something that he wasn't fully aware of, and that was how corrupt the police department is. And I think, was this in Mumbai? I think this was set in Mumbai. How corrupt the police department is, and that there's this symbiotic relationship between, your local police department and your local government and the local mob. So they all kind of blend together, and sometimes you're doing things on behalf of the mob, sometimes you're doing things against mob enemies. And he goes about and he's doing his police duties, and he's shocked to find out that he meets this kind of corrupt mobster. I guess that would be a mobster, and what kind of influence it's having, in the Bombay, oh, maybe it was Bombay Police Department, and you see him trying to work around this, and he wants to have this career, and he's very idealistic and thinks, right should be right, and wrong should be wrong, and he comes across a little crime, and he locks some people up that he thinks are involved with the crime, but they happen to work for the local mobster. And the mobster wants them out, and he's kind of running into this problem where this mobster keeps showing up and wanting to kind of how can we come together? Let me grease the palms. That's an American, grease the palms. You do that as an American saying for a bribe. Let me bribe you. What kind of advice do you like? How can I help advance your career? And, he refuses. He steps away from it, refuses, and then he gets a report of some local thugs that are harassing a woman, And the husband of this woman comes in and says, these guys are harassing my wives. Can you do something? And so he goes and he finds the guy, and he locks him up, and he gives him a beating. Right? He starts beating the guy, and this is kind of an important thing because we'll find out later why he's doing it. And it was something that I really that kind of touched my heart and resonated with me as an individual. And so the word of the beating comes out, and now the mobster kind of has his hooks into this cop because he's going to face kind of like the internal affairs for beating these prisoners. And he thinks, no problem, I'll present the facts, the case, and I'll be exonerated and move on. Well, the problem is it's all fixed. The tribunal is fixed. The mobster's running it, and so the mobster's like, hey, hey, maybe we should work together. And he decides that he's not going to do that. He decides he's not going to do that, work with the mobster, and somehow, and I couldn't quite follow this because it wasn't subtitled, but it looks like somehow he gets help from outside. Like, he gets his case appealed to like a different police department or a different city council where he can get a fair shake. So he goes through that, and he kind of gets that trial and tribulation put behind him, and he decides that he's going to get on a task force. He gets on like this organized crime task force, maybe it's what it was, and they make a big arrest, and he's excited because it's going to advance his career then. But because of the local mob ties, no, we're going to give the credit to this other guy, so you don't get it. And this just kind of pushes him and pushes him and pushes him, kind of in a direction, right? It pushes him in a direction. Now, I said this is important when he's beating the guys that were harassing the landlord's wife. This is important because during one part of the film, he starts kind of remembering how his dad was, and his dad was really kind of ill-tempered, harsh, ready to slap his mom at any slightest problem whatsoever. And that really resonated with me as a kid because growing up, we had it was a stepdad, and he used to beat my mom a lot, and it was not uncommon for me to see this as a child, of watching your mom just get pummeled, and you're little and you're helpless and you can't do anything about it, and it is hard because little boys love their moms. Little boys want to protect their moms, and when you're met with that, there's nothing I can do about this. It's painful. It's hard. It causes damage to you to see this. So I completely bought in with the character when I saw this thing happen and explained why now he is like that towards the bad guys. Why he is like that towards, oh, you're going to go harass women? Huh? Is that what you're going to do? Huh? How about, papa? You're going to get it. And I completely was like, whoa, this is crazy. And so during this whole time, he begins to start drinking, right? Which is never good. It's never a good idea. He starts drinking, and I think she is his wife, right? It was his wife or his girlfriend, or I don't know the relationship with them. It had to be his wife, because she was talking to him like a wife talks. She was like, maybe you should just get out of this. Maybe you should just quit. Maybe you should just go to a different career, man. That kind of thing. And he has it, right? He absolutely has it. There's news stories about police brutality and how unfavorably the police are. And, boy, I think maybe it's got to be his girlfriend, because I think she said something along the lines, if I understood it right, that she never wanted to marry a police officer. but they were awful intimate. You guys will have to let me know. I couldn't quite figure it out. Where they just, you know, in America, it's not uncommon for men and women to live together, but they're not married, right? I don't know if that was the case or if they really were married. I don't know. You have to let me know. So this guy, being resentful, hapless, humiliated, drinking, decides, I'm going to do the one thing that I should have done. Is he goes in he just goes off the deep end. He goes and he kills the mobster and does it and then surrenders to the police. And I was just really like, when I saw this whole thing, I was like, whoa, whoa. I mean, I have to tell you, at first I thought, when I saw the opening scene, and then it was from the 80s, I was like, oh man, is this going to be a hard watch? And I quickly got caught up in the story. The writing on this was phenomenal. I mean, I really feel like with a foreign film, and it's not subtitled, if you can captivate a foreigner with your movie, man, you've done something great. You've done something great, because I don't have all the nuances. It wasn't in English. I don't understand the context in some things, and you got to pause and look up things. But man, was that outstanding! I really loved it. I don't know the actor's name who was in it. Who was the main guy? He kind of had the pock face, like acne scars. And I don't, have I seen him in other things? I don't know, man. It seems like, although he was mature in the 80s, I'm guessing he was in his mid 40s, so he'd be an ancient man now. Really, really good. You guys let me know. Did you like this film? Like, is this film really in the top 100? I mean, I guess probably what I should do is go through my list sometime to see how legitimate is the list, right? I know a couple of Indian friends have said, hey, let me see that list. And so I send them the link to it, and they're like, yeah, I guess, maybe. But this was really good. I enjoyed this film. I really, really did. This